Time with the Dividend Stock King with another video. And today we'll talk about we have it good in 2026 as far as investing. I've I've seen on the news, I don't believe everything the news tells me, but there's a thing going around where, and before I begin, I'm not getting financial advice, right? This is all for fun. This video is just for fun. But I've seen on YouTube, on the news, that there are older people that start living together. Expenses are high. They don't have no retirement. And I see people that are, divorced or older people, 60s, 70s, and they live together, meaning they get a roommate to help pay the bills. I guess you might have seen the guy in New York. His rent is like $2,000 a month, and he splits his 500 square foot home with another person. And maybe you would have saw that, maybe you haven't. But that's happening right now. And if you Google this, they give it a title called the Golden Girls system. I'm going to show the Golden Girls when it's, I believe, 3 or 4 older women live together. And they all have their own room, and they all live in the same house. And they're calling this the Golden Girl system, where the older people are living in together. Now, I'm not against that at all. Okay, I prefer people get a roommate to share or to help, with their monthly expenses. But we live in a good time where, if you're my age, if you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, excuse me, you could prevent that. The older people that are doing this is because they don't have retirement. One lady says she don't have retirement. She blew her 401k. She had nothing in saved, nothing in investments at all, and she continued to work. And these people who live together, they're still working. They are still working a full-time job. Some doing Uber, some work at Home Depot, some work at different stores. Now, I'm not against working, but what I'm saying is, and my whole channel is pretty much based on this philosophy, that we all need these two things. We all need a retirement account outside of a 401k. I've always said this in my videos. If you're a Roth IRA and a taxable brokerage account, you're above, I believe, 80% of society. They're saying 1+ million older people, senior citizens, live together now. They live together. And that's okay, but those folks don't have retirement. They depend on Social Security. And which is fine. I mean, you pay into that. I feel like you pay into that Social Security system, you should get your reward. If I pay into it, I should get it. But the thing about it is that they have nothing besides that. And what I'm saying in this video is we live in a blessed time where we can have ETFs that pay us weekly. We can have ETFs that can pay bi-weekly. We have QLDY that can literally pay you twice a week, right? If you look at my dividends received, the snowball effect is taking effect with a small amount. This is what, year 3 or 4 of my Roth IRA, going high yield, and I buy ETFs that pay pretty much every day. I got blocks for Monday, TSYY for Tuesday. I got WPay for Wednesday. I got ULTY, YMAT for Thursday, and I have QLDY, QDTE for Friday. And you can buy these funds and set it all to drip. So we're living a great time. Number one, we can have another retirement account, and B, have a taxable brokerage. Now, if the older people in that video would have had a Roth IRA and got more dividend stocks, they would not have a roommate. They be living better off because they have investments they've had for 30, 40 years. Now, so I'm saying to say this. Let's take advantage. Number one, let's take advantage of the fact that we have these funds available. Not only these funds, but we have dividend-paying stocks and companies like a Main Street Capital, like a Horizon, like an ARR, Coca-Cola. We have companies that pay you a dividend. So my suggestion is get them all into your Roth IRA. Get the companies, get the stocks, get the ETFs, income, and put it on drip. Let it drip it for 20, 30 years, and you'll be better off than the people who don't have a Roth IRA, who don't have a taxable. When you get your paycheck, when we get our paychecks, and one lady said she lived for now, she never saved, and I said, look, right now I'm shooting this in mid-February of 2026. Most people will get a tax return, and we always people with tax return. What we do, we'll go out there, we'll blow it on vacation, blow it on stuff. What I do with my tax return is I invest. I invest a little bit, I pay some bills, I pay down some debt, then I buy when I want to buy. This is how you put, and then when I said invest, I'm talking about put money into my taxable brokerage account, putting money into my Roth IRA, right? Those two places where the Roth IRA is going to continue to get dividends every single day, every month, and it's going to compound. So I'm talking about buying dividend stocks and ETFs that pays income, right? Or go into a Tesla, or put money in a VU or the SPY. So that's where I'm at with the Roth IRA. We need to have another income source or another way to retire. So if you wanted to take, now I'm not suggesting this, but even you had to, no financial advice, take out your 401k, at least you have a Roth IRA for backup. At least you have a taxable brokerage account you had all your life for backup. At least you have those two things you can have for retirement. I don't want us to be cashing the 401k. The worst thing you can do is cash the 401k and you get up to an old person, you get just 65 or plus, and you have nothing to fall back on. I've always believed that you should have at least a Roth IRA, if anything. Taxable brokerage is cool too, but we should have all these things in line before we set to retire. And if you're 52, 53 plus, and you're retiring here soon, you don't have a Roth IRA, start one. Start a Roth IRA today. Cause I think you gotta have it for 5 years in order to start withdrawing from it to get 59. So and then with these high yield funds, you can make good money in a short amount of time. Within 4 to 5 years, if you plug along and do dividend reinvestment, you can make a good $1,000, $1,500, maybe $2,000 a month. I've been doing this for going on 6 years. In my brokerage account, I'm making $2,000 a month. So you go another 5 or 6 years plugging along, you get to a point where you're taxable or your Roth IRAs make it $2,000 a month, right? So you start now. So if you start now, you'll be better off. So my suggestion to people is to start today. Don't delay, start today. That video was very heartening. I feel bad for those folks because they said the rent's going up, they can't afford a lot of things, and they had nothing to fall back on. Please, please, please. Look, I'm not giving financial advice, right? But I believe we all should have a taxable brokerage, and we all should have a Roth IRA. If you don't want taxable brokerage because you have to pay taxes on that money, fine. Get you a Roth IRA and it grows tax-free. Have something else in retirement. And since your 401k is basically a growth vehicle, I will go all income into the Roth. I wouldn't, you want to go growth in your 401k and growth in your Roth. I'll go growth in my 401k and all income in my Roth because the income is kind of better in the Roth, grow tax-free. So that's my thoughts on the video. We have it good today with these high yield funds, and even with just investing in general. When those older people growing up, they have access, but they didn't know much about investing in the stock market. One quick tip: Warren Buffett started investing into the stock market when he's 11 years old, right? And I want everyone, if you have young children, start investing today. They all could be Warren Buffett, right? And start investing as soon as possible. I started Aiden at 3 years old. I started Avery when he was 6 months old, investing. And I always use the benchmark of Warren Buffett. He started at 11. So you're never too late to invest. And the sooner you start, the better. And we have these funds that pay ridiculous amount of money. 40, 50%, 60% yields. One pays twice a week. Most of them pay weekly, monthly ones. The monthly dividend stocks. Main Street Capital is one that comes to my mind, where they pay a monthly dividend and a quarterly dividend. So with the quarterly dividend payment, you get a monthly and a quarterly in the same month. So my son Aiden had this when he was 3 years old. He still owns it today, and it's still paying him today. And everything is for the kids on drip. So again, this is my personal opinion. Older people are moving in together because they had nothing in retirement. They did no investing, and they were relying on the Social Security and relying on roommates to get bills paid. And what I'm saying in the video is, don't be one of those people. Nothing wrong having roommates, but at the same time, you're moving in with each other because you have the money to pay bills. So again, when I get my paycheck, I make sure I do two things. Of course, I pay off debt. You should always try to pay off debt. Whatever debt is, medical, school, car, pay off debt is very important as well. But one thing, I said it before in my past videos, there's three things I always do with my paycheck. And I get tax return, a paycheck, a bonus on my check. I do these three things consistently. And number one, put money into my Roth IRA. Number two, put money into my taxable brokerage account. And number three, pay off debt. Those three things are a must for me. They are a must because, again, we in retirement, we need money. And get to perspective, right now, I am making $2,000 a month in my taxable brokerage. So their rent in the video that I saw, they're paying $2,000 a month in New York City. I got that covered by myself. Plus I have a Roth IRA, the general income as well. So you see where, and I have a 401k. So you see where the taxable pays bills, and then the Roth IRA is the back end, the groceries or whatever, that goes tax free. So these are two things we all need, okay? I don't care how rich you are or don't know how to invest. We all need a Roth IRA and taxable brokerage. And my kids right now have a 529. They got a taxable brokerage, and when they start making earned income, the first dollar is going to a Roth IRA, because I know the benefit of a Roth IRA at that young age is tremendous. I'm talking about 50 plus years of reinvestment. Think about 50 plus years of tax-free growth. 50 plus years of tax-free growth is insane. So anytime for the Dividend Stock King, thanks for watching.